Be Eintracht Frankfurt against Rangers on the 18th of May. Rangers advancing past RB Leipzig. Eintracht Frankfurt advancing past West Ham. Jules is still with us. Time now to welcome into the show Archie Rhind-Tutt. He was at that match between Frankfurt and West Ham. Archie, great to have you with us. You know, we were going to have Don Hutchison on the show, but he refused when he saw you were in the rundown, because when he talked about West Ham's atmosphere, you just trashed him last time. So what was the atmosphere there like and the game itself in Frankfurt?
It was scintillating, Sebi, and it definitely pushed Eintracht Frankfurt on. I've just got to step out the way here to make sure I don't get run over. There we go. But it certainly made a big difference here tonight. And they are in the final because of their fans as well. What they did against Barcelona, both home and away, and indeed again tonight, pushing them over the line. They certainly got a helping hand from Aaron Cresswell being sent off again for West Ham. That was a huge moment in this tie. But Eintracht Frankfurt have been continually underestimated by their opponents. I think they were underestimated in this first game against West Ham. And this is a big moment for them as a club. Their first European final in 42 years, and a big moment as well for German football, showing that you don't need to loophole your way through German football, that you can be fan run with 50+1 and still make the most of your resources and be successful. This is a success for Eintracht Frankfurt to reach the final. And yeah, the fact that they are not playing RB Leipzig, that receives huge cheers in the stadium because RB Leipzig have not gone on the same journey as Eintracht Frankfurt. It's been a hell of a lot easier for them. And I think that, yeah, this is the dream final. If you'd offered this to Eintracht Frankfurt fans before the game, this is the dream final that they would have wanted.
Shaka, what happened to West Ham?
I think Archie hit the nail on the head. Once Cresswell was sent off, you just felt it was inevitable. West Ham were always asking a lot of themselves, as they did in the previous leg against Lyon. And then Hinteregger has to come off injured, and you thought maybe that's the little bit of luck that West Ham needed, that big physical presence to counter Michael Antonio, having to go off in the 8th minute. And then all of a sudden, Cresswell finds himself one-on-one. The wing-back trying to win a ball when he shouldn't have, got himself in a tangle. Somehow, the referee showed yellow, but then reviewed it, and I think rightly changed the colour of the card. And from there, it felt inevitable. Once Eintracht Frankfurt scored it when they did, it became academic at that point.
Yeah, it seemed like West Ham, throughout the last couple of weeks, last months, really had all their eggs in the Europa League basket. Obviously, Jules, hindsight's 2020. Do we think that was a mistake?
I don't think they would have finished top 4 in the Premier League anyway. So the only way for them to qualify for the Champions League would have been by winning this competition. And I think once Barcelona were knocked out by Frankfurt, I think they believed that this is theirs. You know, they had a chance, and they did have a chance. The problem is they got beaten in the first leg at the London Stadium in a game where they fell asleep at the start of the game, and then at the start of the second half, and then that cost them 2 goals. And once you go to Frankfurt 2-1 down, and Cresswell is as stupid as he was, making that foul and getting himself sent off, and then you can't expect anything from that game. I think the pressure got to them. We saw that with David Moyes and his sending off. I think they had some chances in that second half, though they didn't play badly in the second half at all. But in those games, you win them when you don't make any mistake. It's just a small margin. You qualify for a final on nothing, and they made too many mistakes over the 2 legs to even hope to qualify for the final.
So Frankfurt then in the final will be facing off against Rangers. Rangers getting it done against RB Leipzig. Jules, how did Rangers do it?
Incredible. This is, for me, the story of the season. This is the biggest turnaround because they lost 1-0 in Leipzig. They could easily have lost 2 or 3. And then they don't have a striker. They play Cole right up front with Ryan Kent. They've got Joe Aribo as a false 9. And somehow, in an incredible atmosphere, on the day after they lost their kit man, Jimmy Hill, who was more than a kit man, he was the spirit of that football club for so many years, for the last 30 years, or 40 years even. And to play with the black armband in an incredible environment, and to find the strength and the resources to to really like turn over that tie. And yeah, Leipzig were poor, and defensively they were shocking. The first goal, Angelino, is ball watching. What is Klosterman doing on the second goal? And let's not even talk about the third one. But yeah, they were fantastic. They fully deserved to qualify just on that second leg at Ibrox, which was incredible. But this is tradition. This is what the Eintracht Frankfurt president said. This is tradition. This is the 5th European final for the Rangers. The last one was in 2008 against Zenit when they lost in the UEFA Cup final. But this is also where they belong. They went through so many tough things, so much adversity, having to go through the 3rd division, that liquidation, all the scandal, everything, and then to be reasoned like that redemption is incredible. And now it's a 50-50 final, but it's an incredible story that Rangers wrote with losing their manager halfway through the season. Player for the last quarter or third of the season. It's an incredible fairy tale so far.
Incredible fairy tale, incredible atmosphere, Stevie. Wow.
Yeah, and that atmosphere has been really important for Rangers. And the atmosphere and the crowd is what got them through tonight.
You think so?
Yeah, this wasn't silky soccer we watched in this game. We certainly expected better football from Leipzig, but I didn't expect it from Rangers because they don't have the players that Leipzig have, or a lot of these teams that are in this competition, like Barcelona. But what they got is a crowd that gets behind them, that lifts them, and they've got a setup of playing that everybody knows, understands, and they all give 100%. This was about desire and commitment and closing the ball down, mostly for 45 minutes, because Leipzig had no idea what hit them in the first 45 minutes, and that's why Rangers went in ahead. Unfortunately, the one mistake they made, and Kunku took advantage of it, and I think they look as though they've run out a little bit of steam here, but they kept going, and they got an opportunity from a strange situation, a deflection, goalies all over the place. The ball falls to Lundstrom, 5 yards out, and he puts it home, and Rangers are through. I mean, you talk about heart and soul. And the story is about heart and soul, and that's what got Rangers to this final.
Archie, Stevie mentions the players, all the talent on Leipzig. I mean, this has to be, I know nobody in Germany wanted them to win, but for the people that care about Leipzig, this just has to be a huge letdown.
It is, but it comes back to what Stevie says there about heart and soul. For all of the talent that RB Leipzig have, they don't have that vociferous support that was going to carry them through in these moments. And indeed, after the first leg, Domenico Tedesco, the coach, criticised the fans, saying that, the support there wasn't good enough. And you look at those names, Christopher Nkunku stands out amongst them, of course. But I think it's worth bearing in mind that for this squad to play as many games as they have this season and go through 2 coaches trying to play different styles of football, that has affected the fitness of them. And you've seen, particularly in the last few weeks, how RB Leipzig have run out of gas big time in terms of giving the kinds of energetic performances that they need to give to get over the line in these competitions. So, it's a bad night for them, but it's one that is definitely being celebrated in many corners of Germany right now.
And Glasgow.
Oh, yeah.
One big corner of Glasgow.
One half of it.
Rangers and Frankfurt then will meet in the Europa League final. Should be a great matchup between those two teams. Who do we see as Frankfurt? The odds makers say that Frankfurt is the favorite. Archie, you agree? Frankfurt the favorites?
Narrowly, but both of these teams, I think what's funny is that both of these teams have been continually underestimated by opponents with greater resources throughout the competition. So I reckon both of these teams will want to try and make the other one into favourites because they benefit from being the underdogs. However, in terms of resources, Frankfurt are the favourites.
Stevie, any chance for Rangers?
Well, they've already knocked Dortmund out, and they've knocked Leipzig out. So why don't they do the same to Frankfurt? So yes, Frankfurt are favourites.
What do you think, Shaka?
I'm hoping that Rangers win just so I don't have to listen to Jan. That's the only.
I forgot about that.
You could imagine.
I forgot about that.
Oh goodness me! If everybody's upset with RB Leipzig in Germany, can you imagine Jan if Eintracht Frankfurt wins it? In all honesty, listen, I think Eintracht Frankfurt are favourites, and rightly so. They're the better of the 2 footballing teams. If this game is played purely on emotion, I think Rangers win it. But you need a little more than that to win a final. It will get you so far. It got them over the line in the semi-final. But for the final, I think Eintracht Frankfurt go in as favourites unless Rangers can make this about physicality and about that emotion.
Jules, last word on this to you. Do you think the 11th place team in the Bundesliga is a favourite over Rangers?
Yeah, I agree with the boys, really slightly. I think those finals, again, thin margin. They're going to be one on nothing, on details. But if you're Rangers and you've just knocked out, as Stevie said, Dortmund, who are second in the Bundesliga, Leipzig, who are fourth or fifth, but with a chance to finish in the top four, and now you face a Frankfurt team that had won one game at home before tonight in 2022, you have to go and believe in yourself. If you don't believe now, you will never believe that you can win over one game. So I think Rangers can definitely do it, but yeah, we have to give it to Frankfurt to be slight favourite.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.